Ji.
I am having high regards for the minister's competency in handling the issues. His answers often having sound but not light, with due respect. Sir, the question is, any accountability that has been fixed, those who are not fulfilling the USO obligations? The answer is very simple. Action is taken as indicated therein for not meeting the stipulated targets. You are having very handful number of operators. If you are going for broadband, then again you are having maybe 10 or 15. Putting together beyond 25, only 25 operators are available in this country. What prevented the ministry and minister to give the operator wise? These are all the people fulfilling the obligations. These are all the people not fulfilling the obligation number one. Straight answer. This is completely evasive. It is not matching up with your competency. Number one. Number two, sir, very serious and sensible issues today. Yesterday, newspapers carries a very hot, burning articles. This government came to the power by saying that 1,70,000 crore loss in the exchequer loss for the 2G.
Yes.
We suffered a lot.
Yes.
That is not the question. With the fair-minded, open-minded, I want to ask a legitimate questions. Yesterday, Hindu carries article, more than 1 lakh crore in terms. Sir.
एक मिनट माननीय सदस्यगण, कभी भी माननीय सदस्य किसी अखबार की जानकारी से सवाल सदन में नहीं पूछे। अगर अखबार की जानकारी पे, मेरी बात सुन ले पहले, अखबार की जानकारी से, टीवी की जानकारी से सदन में प्रश्न न पूछा जाए, ये आपकी नियम प्रक्रिया में भी है, इसलिए आप आपकी जानकारी से प्रश्न पूछो।
Law Minister and the Telecom Ministry has successfully succeeded in the Supreme Court, getting the huge money, more than 1 lakh crore, from the private operators like Airtel, Aircel, Vodafone, Idea and all these operators. You succeeded. I want to shower encomium upon you and the government. Though I suffered for 1.77 lakh, the so-called loss. But what happens suddenly? You make a somersault in the Supreme Court. This 1 lakh crore can be fair feature for 20 years. Who gave this concession to the operators? Is this fair on the part of the government? When you are accusing 2G for 1,76,000, which is completely a magic number, you are suffering 1 lakh crore loss. What permitted? How you can be permitted to say before Supreme Court?
आप मारन जी, आप दोनों 2G के एक्सपर्ट हो, एक दूसरे को जवाब मत दो।
Sir. Please sit down. Let me reply now. Sir, because of the short time, sir, I am only taking the second part of his question, sir. Still the argument is going in the Supreme Court today, sir. Therefore, I don't want to give it in detail, except to say that there are nearly 90 crore customers, sir. Now the question the government has to take, while we have one, we have to balance three things. Number one, survival of the sector, compliance of the court's order, and interest of the consumers. That is very important. And the non-NPV emerging because of the variety of reasons, many of the legacy issues, sir. Therefore, we want to say we are fair, we are transparent, and we are also committed to the revival of growth in the country. And we are charging interest also, sir. Therefore, all the allegations are completely wrong, sir. In fact, sir, one day I am willing to have a debate as to how much telecom has suffered because of them. I want to tell this house, sir. This house is entitled to know as to how much in 2G have suffered and how much telecom has suffered because of their government. I am willing to have a debate. Let's have a debate.
Next speaker, Sri A. Rajan.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on the Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh budgets. Sir, I passionately heard the speeches and arguments which have been advanced by the Honorable Member during his debate by Honorable Member Jagadambal Pal. Sir, I recall the famous quotes from Karl Marx. When he wrote his contemporary Feuerbach, he said, the philosophers of this world interpreted the world many ways, but the thing is how to change it. Much has been spoken on the abrogation of Article 370 and the repeal of 35A in the Constitution. It's a mere repetition. But the thing is, having made the amendments, having brought the abrogation, what has been done for past 7 months? That is very important. Rewriting history again and again, accusing the ball on Jawaharlal Nehru or Gandhi or anybody else for bringing 370 will not be no use. You introduced the abrogation, accordingly it was done. 7 months has been passed away. Now you have to tell, see the tangible results. We did a correct thing. Everything is happening. Our promises are being brought into actions. That is not your speech. Of course, you mentioned what are all the allocation that has been made in the budget, nothing else. Sir, with pain, yes, I will come to you. Sir, the budget of the Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh is being discussed in the August House. Not in a normal situation. After deploying 45,000 troops in the valley, and the leaders of the main political stream have been arrested. And I can say that even the Act of Prevention of Security Act that has been imposed, the draconian law, very old law that was imposed as against the political leaders, we are discussing budget in this house. That itself shows the Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh have not been put into normalcy. Sir, when resolution was passed in the house to abrogate Article 370, the fears and apprehensions raised by the oppositions are still pending, which was not at all addressed and which was not at all neither removed. Sir, after 7 months, this house again has an opportunity to revisit the Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh with the different footings. Sir, we are all aware that the State Assembly does not have the opportunity to discuss the will of their people, will of its people, and it is an indirect way that this Parliament is discussing the budget of the Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, so that I can say with due respect to the Treasury benches that this budget discussion is completely ceremonial and it is not in true spirit. It can't be true spirit because we are not Kashmiris. Sir, however, I hope while preparing the budget, the government must have in its mind to address the need and will of the present context of the people in the prevailing situation of economical and political situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Sir, I do not want to go to the detail of the budget in micro way, quoting the numerical strength and numerical figures in the budget available. But I can say with sincerity that the attempt that has been made to satisfy the outer world, international community, as if we allocated a substantial amount of budgetary support for the well-being of the people, which is not at all true, I will demonstrate here. Sir, a state cannot be a prosperous and peace unless and until the social harmony is maintained within the territory of the state or within the territory of the country. So what is the situation today in the Kashmir? Sir, the foremost question which arises in mind is whether this budgetary support, if at all, with a positive sense, with affirmative nature, a substantial amount that has been allotted during the budget, if at all, whether the people of Jammu Kashmir are in a proper position to receive it in a proper way and to have avail it. I do not think so. Sir, what was the Solomon promise which was given by the Home Minister? I can quote. He used a very systematic word, implemented constitutional transformation. The implemented constitutional transformation, that is abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, promise that was given by the Home Minister here on the floor of the House, that it was done to pave the way for the better administration, good governance and economical development, and further he states that Article 370 was the root cause for corruption and militancy in Jammu Kashmir. Sir, let us verify, let us weigh. The assurance that was given by the Home Minister is not fully fulfilled, it can't be, let him take its own time, but sincere attempt whether it was taken to consideration, is there any sincere attempt that has been made on this regard? Sir, when the assurances are given by the HM for the better administration, and the good governance and economic development, what was the status of the Jammu and Kashmir? When the assurance was given by the HM, the state has already proved in terms of gender indicators, MMR, maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, IMR, age of marriage, sex ratio, female literacy are better than the Indian average. Not only more than Indian average, which is much more better than the Bhimarao states. So what type of changes you wanted to give it? You want to picturize the Jammu Kashmir is dwindled down because of 370 and we are going to make a very big revolution. It is not contrary, is it not contrary to the document? To the figures available. Sir, let us take the budget now. A deliberate attempt that has been made to picturize that the borrowing on capital expenditure is reduced and the revenue surplus is increased. Good. I don't want to go into the figures, but have a look out of the graphics. Just I wanted to show some their graph that has been cited in the book. Sir, administrative sector, total capital budget, 2,074 crores. Out of this, how much home? 53.57%. Administrative sector, major portion that has been allocated to the Home Department. For what purpose? To maintain the state police, to maintain the security forces. What does it mean? Does it mean to say the Kashmir, the state of Kashmir and Ladakh have been removed from the dangerous zone or in insecure manner? That is not at all there. Sir, coming to the next one, I can say one or two figures. Social sector, 4,969 crore. How much there? Health, that has 25.52. Then the labor and employment stationary budget, again it is 20%. Then the tribal affairs. Sir, Ladakh, everybody knows there is a substantial amount of population in the tribals in the Ladakh. But how much it is? Only, I think, 5.9%. It's a minuscule. Minuscule. Sir, coming to the overall performance in terms of GDP, sectoral investment contribution to the GDP. How much? Social sector, 12%. Economic sector, 29%. Administrative sector, 5.35%. On the other hand, infrastructure sector, 52%. I am not able to understand what is the 52% of infrastructure in Jammu and Kashmir. Does it mean to say you assured before the house, once 370 is abrogated, the foreign investors will come to the state and the huge investment will be made. But no attempt was made. Even no, there is no single hearsay evidence to say that people are interested after the 370 was abrogated, that people are interested to invest in the state. Sir, huge amount that has been allocated for the disaster. What is the disaster in the state? You wanted to say it is for rehabilitation. Disaster and rehabilitation, when it will come? There is no natural calamity, there is no tsunami, there is no big, any untoward incident took place in the state because of the natural calamity. Why this much of amount is being done? The reason is you need more money because people are suffering there because of this imposition of curfew, because of the imposition of your own clampdown. Because of this, you need this money. Sir, similarly, I can say that, sir, after 7 or 8 months experience, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh are going to be passed to meet the further deterioration in all respects. Sir, what is happening today? What is happening today? Core sectors of the economy witnessed a steep decline after the abrogation of 370. Economy of Kashmir lost 178 billion Indian rupee. More than 90,000 jobs in the sector of handlooms, tourism and IT are lost. First time after 70 years, there is a heavy slowdown in the economy. For example, take Apple industry. A worth of 80 billion Indian rupee, which constituted 8% of GDP of the state, is mostly affected. Who is responsible for this? Does it mean to say 370 has gone away and everything is normal in the state? Not at all. Sir, threats of militants coupled with the government's severe clampdown not only delayed the harvest of the agriculture and appeal and everything, but also it severely attacked the restoration of the civil life in the Kashmir. Sir, on the other hand, luckily, Foreign Affairs Ministry is here. What is the scenario about the Kashmir in the international arena? So how the actions of the government are being weighed by the international community? On October 29, India allowed 27 members, a delegation of 27 members of European Union delegation on a private invitation of an NGO. Allegation was made against 27, out of the 27 members, 22 members are from right-wing Islamophobic background, and it was termed guided tour through 5-star hotel in Srinagar. UK parliamentarian, Sir Mr. Chris Davis of Democratic Party claimed that the invitation by the government of India was revoked for him after he insisted that he expects a free exchange of interaction with the public in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Is it not shame on our part? Sir, you are saying that international community is visiting, but our own leaders are not at all allowed to go to Kashmir. What does it mean? What type of democracy we are maintaining here?
And internationally selected.
Sir, on October 22, US congressional panel described the entire situation a lockdown and humanitarian crisis. Sir, with painful heart, I can quote, 6 American lawmakers further raised human rights concern in a letter to the Indian ambassador to the United States Ambassador Harishvardhan Srinath. External Affairs Ministry is here. A letter was handed over to the Indian High Commission to the US, where it was stated, I quote, "We believe true transparency can only be achieved when journalists and members of the Congress are allowed to free access to the region of Kashmir. We encourage India to open Jammu Kashmir to both domestic and foreign journalists and other international visitors in the interest of the open media and increased communication," unquote, which was not done by you. Sir, what is needed today? Not budgetary support, I am telling, not substantial amount of money. It is essential for the state through the ceremonial activities of this budget. But what is essentially needed? Essentially needed is trust. Please rebuild the trust deficit and win over the confidence of the people in Jammu and Kashmir. Please repeal Protection of Security Act, hijacked political process. Sir, hijacked political process, I am going to complete. Hijacked political process and the detained political leaders must be freed. In the absence of the measures, the budget will fed up with all your mumbo jumbo and abracadabra. Thank you, sir.